Ringers off, D&D on. Get the cameras. Okay, let's regroup here.
Wow. I was actually, for once, thinking that this podcast was going to be very
normal,
serious, but don't expect that from us from here on out.
Oh my gosh, welcome back to Tea Time with the Twins. This is episode 7. I'm your host, Maggie Pilarski.
And I'm Anna.
And this is our second round of filming this podcast because we realized we weren't recording the entire time.
And
we also don't know how to talk.
We don't know how to answer questions, apparently, or speak about personal experiences. And my tea's all gone now, so.
Yeah, so cheers.
But in case you were wondering what we were drinking chai tea lattes with raw milk and Manuka honey.
So basically, what we were talking about for 30 minutes that
you guys had to be there. You had to be there.
We are basically, this is going to be a Q&A on women's health, hormonal imbalances, just frequently asked questions that even I had when I was going through my little journey. And I do want to start off this podcast by saying we are not doctors. So obviously these are just...
They're based off of personal
answers
experience.
Based off of personal experiences, personal research. And we're just here to give you some insight and do with it what you will.
Also, what Maggie forgot to mention is that there are also Q&A or questions about holistic health and taking that route in your health journey. So Maggie, why don't you start us off with a question?
All right. So basically this is just the perfect first question to ask. What are the most common signs of hormonal imbalance and how can women address them holistically?
Based on my imbalance issues and those of some of my friends who have dealt with the same thing, we all kind of got the same issues of acne, hair loss, inflammation, just being exhausted all the time, in a constant state of fight or flight. In Maggie's case, stress hives, eczema.
Was going through it.
And as a female, when you look like that, it's not a good place to be in.
It's humbling.
And so you get really down on yourself because you're like, what just happened to my body? What's going on? And you do think that something's wrong, and obviously it is something wrong, but it's also a way of your body telling you that you need to change something.
Mm-hmm. Wait, can I just interrupt you and tell you a fun fact that I found out about eczema is, so you can get it for like a couple different reasons. It can be like weather change or it can be like stress related. I have an eczema patch and I think it's from weather related because we moved here from Florida and I got it like right when we moved, but it can flare up when you get stressed out. And I noticed that I would be like putting castor oil and like tallow and stuff on it, and it would like start going away. And then I'd have some stress, panic, freak out thing, and then it'd flare up and be there the next day. So it's this constant cycle.
Another thing that's been on the rise within the female department is ovarian cysts, which I will say right now
are not normal.
And so if you think that they are, and if people tell you they are liars, because they are just starting to happen very recently within, I don't know, past couple years or decade or something. For me, an ovarian cyst, that was my wake-up call. The pain was so bad, I thought I had appendicitis, and so I made the stupid decision to go to the doctors. And like usual, they did absolutely nothing and prescribed me some medication that they didn't even send out, so I didn't even end up getting it. And what they said to me after being there for like 3-4 hours and leaving at 3 a.m., their final words to me were, so basically there's nothing that you can do. Like sometimes it goes away or it'll just stay there. Or like worst case scenario, you just wait until it bursts and then you have to come in for emergency surgery. So I was like, okay, I'll do that.
So comforting.
So that was my wake up call. And I basically transformed my life. since then, because I feel like I'm very in tune with my body, and I just knew that was not normal, plus everything else I was dealing with. So some of the things that I did in order to balance my hormones, for starters, completely changed my diet. We went on an anti-inflammatory diet, cut out all those bad seed oils, cut out processed foods, just ate a ton of meat. I started putting filters into my bathroom sink, my shower. I started doing red light therapy every night before bed. I switched all of my skincare to non-toxic, clean ingredient skincare. Right now, I use Norse Organics. If my code still applies, it's PILAR 10 for a 10% discount. I asked them for one literally like 6 months ago, and they actually gave me a discount. Wow. To give out to people. Wow. So if it still works, you guys should use it. I mean, a lot of skincare products are like 80-90% water, whereas Norse is not. And so it's like very potent, but it's like super clean. It's like honey, castor oil. It's so clean. Moral of the story, it worked wonders on my skin. So I highly recommend it.
And then I'm just going to reel back into answering the question really quickly. One of the main things that I prioritize, that every woman should prioritize when they feel as if though they have a hormone imbalance and are experiencing these symptoms, is really understanding and listening to the emotions and the feelings that your body is telling you, and actually like sitting with them and feeling them, identifying them. And eventually, once you do that, you're able to process your emotions, and it's just like a full body cleanse detox when that happens. Because I know for me, I used to shove down all my feelings, and
sometimes we still do.
But in the long run, it's going to come out later in life. For me, when I... Hold on. But for me, when I knew something was awry, my main symptoms was being stuck in fight or flight. So I was just, walking around on eggshells all the time. And it's because my body did not feel safe in my environment. And so when I switched my environment, I noticed that I was completely exhausted all day from doing nothing. And I would just sob uncontrollably for absolutely no reason. Like, I would get home from running errands or from work, shut the door to my apartment, and just like break down. And I was like, what the hell is happening? After having gone through a situation where you're stuck in fight or flight for so long, once your body is in a safe environment, it allows your basically all those
stored up emotions
and feelings released from your body in forms of feeling exhausted, sobbing uncontrollably, tremoring, just like all this crazy stuff. So I realized that was that's what was happening to me, and I was like, oh my goodness gracious. I thought it was being,
those were not the words you said.
Yeah, I thought it was being so dramatic. I was like, I'm crying. But then I realized, like, oh, sick. Let me cry. This feels so good. If you're feeling these symptoms, I would first start by doing a ton of like self-reflecting, track down the symptoms that you're having and when they happen. Like if something triggers you and you get, I don't know, hair loss, I would do that, and I would 100% first thing first start with changing your entire diet.
So second question is, what role does self-care play in holistic health, and how can a woman prioritize it without guilt? Because that kind of is a good lead-off question to your little rant from earlier.
But that's crazy you said that, because I was just listening to Andy Frisella's podcast on 75 Hard and how and why he created it, all his experiences over the course of how many times he did it. And the one thing he said that stuck out to me was, you have to be selfish in order to be selfless. And I really liked that, because I 100% agree to that from personal experience. I know when I was at my worst and was not taking care of myself, even though I thought I was just not whole as a person. And I wasn't able to give myself to others and be present with others to the full extent that I knew I could be capable of. And then once I started honestly prioritizing myself and working on myself mentally, emotionally, and physically, I literally felt like this energy shift just be there way more in friendships, not relationships.
I just want to go back to what Andy Frisell said, because I think that some people can misinterpret that and be like, oh, so I need to be a selfish person. I don't think he means that. I think he means basically be selfish with your time and focus on prioritizing your health and your mentality before giving back to others.
Yeah. 100. So with that being said, how do you think stress impacts women's health, and what holistic strategies do you recommend to manage it? What are some things that you have done?
Well, to answer the first part, dude, being stressed is so annoying. It obviously impacts it because, again, like your body's going to react to it because you're putting so much pressure on yourself. And ways that I react when I'm stressed can be seen in my face, because I start to break out and like I feel like my eyes get really saggy and I have no life in my face. And my hair will start falling out too, which is just so cool. I feel like you can't sleep well at night either. And then you're just tired all the time and you're crabby and it's just not a vibe. So
and you're running on cortisol.
Yeah. So like, obviously all of those are impacting your health, and your body's gonna, again, tell you, and bad things will start happening.
Well, I also think that like stress weakens your body and your immune system. It keeps your cortisol levels super high, and running on cortisol is just, it's not in. It's so 2022.
So some of the ways that I deal with that, and that others can as well, is, for one, cortisol levels. I'm sure I've mentioned this book multiple times, but for those of you who have not read it, read The 5 a.m. Club, Game Changer. But they talk a lot about cortisol levels and how basically that's the first hormone that is through the roof the second you wake up. And in order to shut that bad boy down is to work out. I know there's other ways, but for me, what works for me personally is to work out first thing in the morning. And just to be clear, guys, your cortisol levels are your fear hormone. So when you do something that's positive and impactful first thing in the morning, it lowers that fear hormone and it sets you up to just take on the day and have that mindset, well, I just conquered this hard struggle. What?
Task.
Yeah. This task or this struggle in the morning. Which one can I do next? Like, how can I do that again? Like, working out first thing in the morning totally lowers my cortisol levels, gets me that snatched jaw because it takes away the inflammation from my face.
But literally, you look more alive.
I know. And like, truly, your mind is just so clear and it's just so much better. Another thing that I've been getting into more, because we are doing the Gymshark 66-day challenge, one of my habits that I'm incorporating into that is meditation. And so usually when I do that, I either just sit still and vibe with like frequencies on and just, listen to affirmations and, I don't know, go over things that I'm grateful for, or I will turn on my red light therapy, put frequencies on, and do some stretching. So that definitely calms me down. I feel like I enter a different dimension, which is kind of cool. And then once I get out of that dimension, I'm totally stress-free.
One of my things that I'm a huge advocate for is journaling. Even though you're not necessarily like speaking, getting the words out, you're getting them out in a different form, which is writing. And I have noticed that if there's something bothering me or something I can't get out of my mind, I like to write it down and just, uncluster my soul. Shout out to this book, Unclutter Your Soul. Getting your thoughts out and writing them down on paper is huge. I always feel so much better after doing it. It's my little form of therapy and stress relief. I haven't done it in a while, but a different form of meditation that's also good is just sitting in complete silence instead of having like sounds and music. Because if you're already stressed out, like having more noise and all that fun stuff is just gonna spaz you out a little bit more.
Get you overstimulated.
Yeah, I think it's a really good thing.
Mm-hmm. We actually had a whole podcast about this way back when.
Time out, guys. December 31st was our 1 year anniversary of Tea Time with the Twins, but we couldn't make an episode because we were traveling for like 3 weeks and we couldn't bring our equipment. But I just want to let you guys know that, and we didn't post. But yeah, is that exciting? Okay, go.
Anyway, so we talked a lot about cycle syncing and how important it is as a woman to incorporate that into your fitness lifestyle. So do you want to just talk about that, do a little brief overview, and just tell us how it enhances your emotional and physical being?
Yes. So whether you know or not, I'm going to make this quick because we have a whole podcast about it, so I don't want to chat too long on this.
I think it's like episode 2 if you guys want to watch it.
Yeah. Basically, women live in cycles. So it's menstrual, ovulation phase, follicular, luteal, menstrual. Then it's a cycle. There's a specific guideline of how you should follow certain phases and what you should do with your diet, working out, any just like mental exercises you want to do. So basically you have the 2 phases, the ovulation phase and the follicular phase, where your body is at its peak.
My favorite phase.
Your pheromones are peak, your energy levels peak. That's where you can go hard in the gym. There's a specific diet you can follow. There's like certain foods that you should be eating during that phase. And then when you're in your luteal and menstrual phase, that's when your body starts slowing down. It's storing up and saving energy for when you're going through your menstrual cycle. So that's when you should kind of chill out in the gym a little bit more, prioritize long walks, yoga, stretching, and just like slowing down in all areas of your life. I started cycle syncing my life probably, I want to say it was like a year ago.
Yeah.
Since then, I have noticed significant changes in my physical features, my mental health, just kind of all areas. I will say it was hard at first to slow down, specifically in the gym, because I'm someone who thinks that if you're in the gym, you might as well just go all in and just push super hard all the time. So that was a struggle at first. I'm getting way better at it. When you do that, for me, like that changed everything. My menstrual phase used to be like 9 days long, horrible cramping, horrible obnoxious mood swings, so much pain.
Low-key depression.
Okay,
it wasn't actually depression. It was just like...
It was just my mind playing games with me.
Yes.
Depression is... That word is thrown around so much, and I'm a culprit. Okay. Since I started cycle syncing, that has completely changed the formation of my body, in the sense that like my menstrual phase is now like 3 or 4 days long.
It's such a breeze.
It's such a breeze. It's so easy now. It's
like
not
you don't even feel like you're on it.
I'm gonna be on my period. My word's over. It's like, oh, period, whatever.
It's almost like exciting.
I know. No, really.
Like I get excited and I'm like, okay, yay. Like,
but if you look at it as a beautiful thing, which it is, you learn to appreciate it more. Mm-hmm. And you're like, holy crap, the female body is so dope. I've noticed like physical and emotional well-being, how much that is improved, because since I do take that time where I'm going through my luteal and menstrual phase to slow down and go slower in the gym, do lighter workouts, it sets me up for a great ovulation phase and follicular phase, because my energy is just so much higher. I feel so much better in the gym, just my mood. And that also plays a huge role in balancing hormones.
An example of me not listening to my body and not preparing myself to enter my menstrual phase was literally yesterday. And Monday I usually do legs. And so Maggie did legs with me and we were squatting. Your girl's about to start in a couple days. I was like, dude, I feel great. And that's another thing. Sometimes when I feel really good, I do go a little bit harder in the gym than I normally would. But again, it's all about listening to your body. Like if you feel good, I wouldn't say go to the extreme, but like you can do a little bit more movement than a walk, I would say.
Yeah, I would say don't hold yourself back. Everyone's different. Everyone like hears their body differently. So just be in tune with that.
Going back to this whole squatting story, basically we were just doing back squats and we got up to like 165, which I know is not a lot, but mentally I was locked in. I was like, I got this. We're going to squat it. And I also haven't lifted that much in like months. Oops. But I get up there and I failed it and I was pissed. And so then I was like, dude, I'm doing this again. I'm not quitting. And I failed it again and I was pissed.
I actually thought you were going to get it.
I know.
Time. Guys, I got it.
But anyways, I was sitting there on the floor underneath the barbell. And I was like, what? Like, what's my problem, basically? And then it kind of hit me. I'm like, oh, duh. Like, I'm starting my period in 5 seconds. That was literally my body telling me to chill out. However, everything's a competition with Maggie. So I continued working super hard in the gym. And I was like trying to keep up with her. And then like, I remember we finished with like a 10-minute walk. And she was on like an incline of 8. And I was like, well, I have to go on an incline of 8. And so I'm going, and I'm like dying. I could barely lift my legs. And then that's when I was like, okay, Anna, just shut up and listen to yourself, listen to your body, calm down. And so I like lowered my speed, my incline, and I just chilled out. That's, again, the beautiful thing about a woman's body is like every month you're getting a little signal to calm down, slow down. You don't need to be killing yourself every single day in the gym. And I know I do a lot of the times, and it's something that I struggle with. But it's a journey, and I'm trying to make a little balance of that.
And while we're on this topic, I would like to bring up how there are so many, and I'm not hating, I'm not shaming.
I have no idea where you're going with this.
There are a ton of female influencers in the gym community who will make videos about when they're on their period at the gym, and they're all like, push through the pain. You are hurting your body so much.
And also
hurts my soul watching that.
It hurts my soul, but also it's like they make those videos and then they'll post about how their period's killing them, how they have all this acne, how like
I know
their period's death. And I'm like, that's why.
So I just wanted to bring that up and bring that to light because
it's not talked about enough.
And I think that's a huge problem is just in this world is like women's health is not talked about. And that's why we're here today. No, but for real, that's why we're here because
we're different.
We're different. But that is a topic that needs to be discussed more. And that's why there's so many health problems in the female community because no one was taught anything.
Thank you, society.
How can women shift their mindset from treating symptoms to embracing a preventative whole body approach?
That's a great question, Maggie.
Thank you.
Again, like symptoms, they're almost like a whole body effect. Mm-hmm. Not even almost, they are. Again, going back to doctors, I don't want to be too harsh, but they will 9 out of 10 times hand you birth control and be like, this will fix your problems. And that is so wrong. I'm so against birth control and I rebuke that. Like birth control gives you all of the symptoms you already have, essentially.
Yeah. And then once you get off it,
you get all those symptoms again because you're detoxing from it.
It takes years.
So,
to detox from birth control.
I don't even know what the question is because I just hold on, don't talk. I would just say literally take your body and do experiments because that's what we did. And I know it sounds sketchy, but what we did was we wrote down a list of all of our symptoms. We wrote down everything that we were eating, vitamins or supplements that we were taking, skincare that we were using. This is what we're doing. Clearly this isn't working. So how can we change it? And so day by day, we would switch things up. We would stop eating this certain food and replace it with something better and see how it would feel. Same with skincare.
Just like stress factors in our life.
Yeah, different areas. It's literally just like a full body experiment. And then eventually things start clicking, things start making sense.
The more you learn, the more you realize how...
You go down a rabbit hole,
and I'm not even going to go into it. I'm just going to say, do your own research.
Yeah, just like changing 90% of our lifestyle into clean eating, holistic remedies, taking the right supplements. Once you go there, you're never going to go back because you just like feel so light. Everything's clear. Everything makes sense. You have so much more energy. And it's just like this whole new world.
One thing I want to say is I can't remember who it was, but I was talking with someone because they asked me, they're like, what did you first do when you noticed like you were having all these symptoms and like you just knew something was wrong? And I told her I like cold turkey completely changed my entire diet, legit cut off every single thing that I was eating prior. And she was like, oh, I don't know if I could do that. For me, I knew that something was wrong, and I was dealing with like all these random health symptoms that I just like mentally could not do it anymore. And that was enough for me to just be like, I'm not even gonna like sample this. I'm just going all in, baby. That's where you need to kind of like prioritize your needs and your wants. And not to sound deep or anything, but like literally what is your why? And mine was, I can't even function throughout a day without crying.
That was Meg's why.
That's my why.
No, but I literally stop like crying.
Couldn't get throughout the day without just like something going wrong in my body and in my health. And I knew that I wouldn't be able to reach my full potential in any area of my life if I could not get control of my health. This is just like a little fun question. What are some of our favorite like anti-inflammatory, hormonal imbalancing foods? And I stand by this till the day I die, is bone broth is like, for me, the number one kicker. It's really good for your gut. It's really good with inflammation and taking that stuff down. It's good for your skin.
It's really good for everything.
But I've noticed a difference in my skin when I started taking bone broth. It was more glowy and happy. And then when we were traveling for 3 weeks, I wasn't drinking it as much. My face was no longer glowy and happy.
Like bone broth in the morning, and also lukewarm to warm lemon water. Mm-hmm. And then also kimchi, raw carrot salad, which we never eat, which we need to eat.
What's that other one that's like kimchi but not?
Sauerkraut,
probiotic foods. Guys, look it up. Do your research. It's so fun. Yeah.
Also, side note, supplement for gut health, oil of oregano. That baddie heals leaky gut syndrome. It's disgusting.
So gross.
So gross.
Okay, well, you can either take capsules or you can take the tincture. We do the tincture. I don't know why.
I just feel like it works better.
Same.
I've noticed more of a difference since taking the tincture.
But it is absolutely ratchet tasting. But so worth it.
Safety first. Make sure that you don't
overdose.
A, don't overdose on it, and B, make sure it doesn't go down the wrong pipe, because that happened to me once. I swear I almost died. That was the hardest 20 minutes of my life.
We're going to wrap this up with one more question, and it is, what do you wish more women knew about the power of holistic living?
Honestly, to me, it's just been fun. Like,
it's been a joy.
I just love learning more about it every day. And like, I also think my favorite, I don't even know if this is answering the question, but I'm just going to say this. Also, I just want to clarify, I am not like 100% holistic, because I'm just not there yet, but we're getting there. My favorite part is when, other females see some of the things that we're doing with our health and how we're taking care of it, and they come up to us for advice, and I can actually, like, I know what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
And I can give them advice and help them, and they'll tell me all of their symptoms, and I can say, sister in Christ, I know what you're going through. I've been there. This is what you need to do. This is what I did. And it freaking worked miracles.
Being able to have that information and actually confidently knowing what I'm talking about is just astronomical. I think that learning about how powerful and beautiful the female body is, and learning all of these things that we were not taught about in society or just growing up, learning how it works to the full extent and being able to order your life around being a female. No, just like literally ordering your life around how I work as a woman. It's been so cool just being able to learn about it to the point where I just want to dive into my feminine and learn everything there is to learn about how we work, what we can do, and how to incorporate that into our everyday lives. I'll die on this statement. But I just wish every other girl and woman out there knew the wonders of just like holistic living and working with your body instead of against it. And that's why you should watch our podcast.
And follow our Instagram. Also, we want you guys to hold us accountable 2025 to post more content based on
holistic
living, different remedies we use, different organic and clean products that we use, instead of just the fitness part of it, because we're trying to incorporate that more into our content.
Yeah. And we also know that we only post leg day content.
I know. We've been getting a lot of comments about that.
So you'll see some upper. Okay, I hate filming upper body because there's always so many people around, and I know I shouldn't.
The
feel
like
ashamed.
area is so like squished together. Ugh. We'll figure it out.
Thanks for being here on our journey.
Keep up with the calisthenics journey. I'm not getting far. Yeah, I can't lift my legs into the air. So with that being said, like, comment, and subscribe, donate, all the good stuff.
Okay, we're gonna try and get this episode on Spotify for people who don't want to see our faces.
Yeah. I don't know why you don't want to see our facial expressions, because those are the best part.
Yeah, cheers to our empty tea glasses.
And thank you for following us on this journey.
It has been a beautiful, wonderful ride.
Hopefully we're going to sneak in some guest speakers in this next upcoming podcast.
Okay, yay!
Bye.
Bye.